Welcome to the Tesla Economist. Please hit the thumbs up and remember to subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter and talk to me on Patreon. Tesla have announced a new plant and plan to start work on it as soon as this month. Where is this new plant? Well, it's going to be in Shanghai. In fact, it's just an extension of the current site. Apparently, the extension will be enough to double the production capacity in China to meet growing demand in the country and exports. Two people familiar with the matter told Reuters. The article goes on to say that once the new plant is fully operational, Tesla will have the capacity to produce up to 2 million cars per year at its expanded Shanghai facility, the company's main export hub, according to the people, who asked not to be identified in discussing still private plans. 2 million a year produced just in China. To give you some comparison, Toyota produced 1.6 million vehicles in China in 2021. Tesla will be producing more vehicles than anyone else in China, the largest auto market. But 2 million capacity? We've seen Model Y run rate at close to 1 million alone. Surely with Model 3 combined at full production speed, Tesla could be in the low millions already, especially when we add in Phase 3 that is currently being developed. Well, yes. And actually, the article goes on into further detail on Giga Shanghai also. The article says, expansion plans for the existing plant aim to put Tesla on track to produce around 1 million vehicles this year. The expansion plans they're referring to are presumably Phase 3, but 1 million vehicles this year? That is even above my estimate at around 900,000 for the year. However, mine is based on scarce chip supply, so it's possible that if Tesla produce 100,000 more units in China, it might mean 100,000 fewer units at other plants. Or Tesla's chip shortage isn't as bad as we thought. Either way, these chip shortages are just a temporary issue. 1 million from China this year is incredible. It's more deliveries than Tesla did all of last year, yet from just one of their 4 locations. The article also says Tesla has projected to take its weekly production to about 22,000 vehicles at the plant in the coming months. One of the sources said 22,000 a week in the coming months. So perhaps around May or so. 22,000 a week is almost 100,000 a month. This is huge. That production rate would be over 1.1 million vehicles over a year. This would then imply that the new factory would thus have a capacity of 900,000, given that we were told Tesla would have 2 million total. Will this be a big factory then? No, I wouldn't have thought so. I would say that Tesla can produce that quantity of vehicles in a factory similar to the size of the Model 3 Shanghai due to all the new production processes, requiring a lot less space for the same output. This is all big news, so let's go through what it means, or could mean. Now, is this so surprising? 22,000 a week is about 95,000 a month. We saw around 70,000 deliveries from China in December. I think this further increase to the existing factories is going to be due to Phase 3 being complete. This will be to accommodate the capacity of the new battery factory already operational from CATL a few blocks down the road from Giga Shanghai. That might imply that this new factory Tesla are building in China will be to accommodate this next new factory that CATL are going to build. It makes sense, right? Tesla and CATL are both starting a new factory at the same time. Although, according to the YouTuber Woowa, he thinks this new factory is for the development of intelligent technology integrated electric chassis. It is unknown whether CATL will cooperate with them in the future. However, even if that is the case, it is still likely there are going to be some battery lines there too, to cater to the new plant. If we have 60 kilowatt-hour batteries for 2 million cars, then we need 120 gigawatt-hours of batteries. The other battery plant is only about 80 gigawatt-hours capacity. It took Tesla a year from breaking ground on Giga Shanghai until cars were coming off the production line. Therefore, we would expect this new factory to be even faster if anything. If this is the case though, and time it right with the extra battery production CATL could offer, then it would align in about right once Tesla has this new factory ramped up, which, judging by the previous Model Y factory, won't take long, maybe hitting these numbers as early as the end of next year, implying China should already be at a run rate of 2 million vehicles a year at the start of 2024. Of course, this number will not cap at 2 million, it will be continually improved, dependent on CATL battery supply. Just off the top of my head, perhaps Fremont delivers another 750,000 units, and the other 2 factories might be at a run rate of 1.5 million by then, although I would hope more. Either way though, that would put the start of 2024 at a run rate of 4.25 million, and we do expect Tesla to continue to expand even in 2024, We would expect this new location announced this year and to start building next year and then start production in 2024 also. But outside of China, the production numbers will be due to how many 4680 batteries Tesla are producing. If Tesla hit a run rate of 1.5 million 4680 models, then that would possibly be only around 100 gigawatt hours. We were told on Battery Day that Tesla would produce 100 gigawatt hours in 2022. We were told in the shareholder meeting that we should hit a run rate of 100 gigawatt hours by the end of this year. We've had no update as to the expected run rate of 4680 since, but I would get the impression that perhaps Tesla might be around 100 gigawatt hours of 4680 batteries in 2023. Perhaps starting 2024 with a run rate of 150 gigawatt hours, or enough for over 2 million 4680 vehicles, some from perhaps this new factory. Well, that's enough batteries for another 750,000 vehicles, taking the total to a run rate of 2 million from China, 1.5 million from the new factories, 750,000 from Fremont, and 750,000 from these additional batteries. Well, that comes to a total run rate of 5 million. Wow. This is 2024, mind you, though. So if we had 1.7 million this year, and even if we had 3 million in 2023, well, 5 million is still a huge jump in 2024. No? Did I miss something? Oh, right. Yeah, I see. The 2024 number isn't quite right, is it? The number was calculated as the run rate at the start of the year. And we said that Tesla would still be growing in 2024. Again, you can ignore all the factories, the number of factories and capacities, as they are moot. We only need to focus on 4680 battery production. Oh, and perhaps the LFP ramping up in China. And what if Tesla hit a run rate of 250 gigawatt hours for 4680 batteries by the end of 2024? Perhaps that would mean in 2024 they were able to produce a total of 200 gigawatt hours of 4680 batteries, enough for about 3 million 4680 vehicles. And if CATL also increased their production, particularly with the new research facility, well, that could mean China could increase capacity a further 50% to 3 million. What if some of the other battery makers also supply 4680 batteries to Tesla, or even LFP batteries, possibly from Panasonic? Anyway, add this up, and we have over 6.5 million vehicles for 2024. Okay, as soon as I can get some 2025 leaps, I'm all in. This would be an absolutely absurd amount of revenue, just for auto sales, accompanied with even crazier margins. This is also only in a couple of years. And FYI, for reference, when Tesla increases their deliveries by 6.5 times, and a lot of those additional sales were the higher end Model Y long range, with the more profitable 4680 batteries, and economies of scale has kicked in, and costs are relatively diminishing, then just because the deliveries have increased 6.5 times, well, that doesn't mean profit increases 6.5 times. Although I would like to know the answer to how profitable that would be. I might run some numbers in another video. Anyway, I'm sure it is more like 20 times the existing profit. And currently annualized, we're at around $10 billion profit from the last quarter. That would mean $200 billion of profit, or a P ratio of about 4 at today's low prices. Okay, this is all totally back of the napkin math. I just like how easily you can make the numbers so big with Tesla. And no, we're not allocating any of these batteries for energy, as 4680 was not designed for energy. What with what Tesla have learned in the past, their new factory may be for a new car, and I have an idea what it may be. Could it actually be Tesla are going to make the compact at this factory? That's what some people are speculating again. Of course not. Besides, this factory would only produce 900,000 cars. That would not be anything close to meeting demand. Yet at the same time, Tesla have demand until next year for their current models in some markets now. Why, oh why, would they want to launch a low-cost model that doesn't make very good margin that will cannibalize their high-margin products? This would in no way be a smart move for Tesla, and no, it doesn't serve the mission better either. This factory is not going to be for any new model. It won't be for the X or S, or obviously not the Cybertruck either. No, the factory will produce the 3 and or the Y, but the new version, front and rear die-cast with all the other latest manufacturing techniques and technology in the car. Combine that with CATL's evolution of battery technology, perhaps even somewhat helped by Tesla in this new factory. Maybe not all their trade secrets, but a few easy ones, enough to make a difference somewhat in the range. Perhaps a range that would be suitable for more markets for the Model Y, perhaps approaching 250 miles, and possibly a Model 3 with 300 miles. Remember, Tesla still has all this demand, yet hasn't launched their biggest selling product in the US or European markets yet, a standard range Model Y. Let me know if you want me to run some financials on China hitting 2 million to see if we can estimate the value of Tesla China. Thanks for listening. Please hit the thumbs up and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter and talk to me on Patreon.